Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name's Jordan, and today we're here again talking about Turo, and more importantly, how I chose my first Turo vehicle to list on the platform. All right, let's get into it. So I started my Turo journey about 4 months ago now, and it hasn't been exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I have learned a lot from it. I think I've earned in revenue around $1,200-1,300 bucks. And honestly, that was only with my vehicle being listed as an active listing for maybe 2 months. So about 500 bucks a month of it actually being listed on the platform. So when looking into getting my first Turo car, I basically was looking for 3 things is how I did my research. First one being just doing market research on Turo in your area. That's a really big first step. So what I literally did was go into, Turo, looked up my area. So, Kelowna, BC. I just picked a date in the future. It didn't really matter, just a couple weeks in advance. 59 cars available. So that was kind of the first thing I was looking at. I was like, okay, how many cars are available in my area? So, 60 cars. Honestly, that's not really that much, and it is pretty new to Kelowna. When I talk to people about Turo, they are like, oh, what's that? Oh yeah, I think I have seen an ad or something along those lines on social media, but I've never actually used it. That's like the answer I'm getting a lot right now. Started scrolling, just started looking to see what there's lots of, what there's not a lot of. So then I went to filters. This is kind of where I decided to go for the size of my car, was kind of going through the filter, number of seats, picking a 7 or more vehicle, and boom, that's exactly what I saw, kind of 7 to 10 cars. And I went, oh, okay, there seems to be a market on Turo for 7-seater vehicles or more. So that's actually my vehicle right there, the Ford Explorer 2018. Got 6 trips under my belt, yada yada, but that's what I went for. And I mean, you're kind of going up against a Q60 Infiniti here, a Ford Ecoline. God, that thing is rusty. No trips, brand new. The Audi Q7s, those guys seem to do pretty well. I think people, when they get to choose a car to rent, something a bit more exotic, an Audi, it's just, damn, they are nice, I'm hoping the Ford Explorer, this thing is top of the line. I was hoping that it's going to kind of compete in that range, but those are my competitors. The Toyota Highlander, the Ford Trans, that's a little bit bigger. It's like 10 seats, I think. So that's the first step I did. Market research, figure out what there's lots of, what there's not a lot of, and then that can kind of narrow in on you getting into the Turo market. All right, the next thing I really took into consideration, the next factor is going to be the environment. Okay, where are you? Are you in a desert where it's, warm all year round, doesn't snow, or are you up in Canada where it's going to snow? So a convertible, for example, is going to be good for like 4 months of the year, May, June, July, August, September. Let's call it 5 to 5.5 months. And then for the rest of the year, it's going to be the other 6 months of the year, it's going to be not really moving. And that's just because it's a convertible and it's going to be too cold, it's going to be snowy, etc. That's another thing that I wanted to do, in Kelowna. It does snow. We have a beautiful, beautiful summer, so a convertible would do really well, but I want something that is going to try and compete throughout the year. So I really wanted to go with a 4-wheel drive vehicle, something. And I was looking at cars too that, had all-wheel drive. Thought that's a really good option. 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive is kind of a necessity for me if I want to compete in the winter months out in the Okanagan and Kelowna, BC. I think same thing if you're in Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, Montreal, etc. You're going to want something that's all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. It's going to be important to your guests. And the third step that I took into consideration with picking and choosing my first vehicle to list on Turo is going to be the depreciation curve, how far along has it depreciated already, and the mileage. And I'm just categorizing those two together because you can kind of go to Auto Trader or your car marketplace of your choice, and you can kind of filter some of those options. So first thing is going to be mileage. I'm trying to get something that's, under 80,000 kilometers for sure. You start to run into a lot of issues in that 80 to 120,000 kilometer mark, or your first set of issues anyway. So I wanted to try and get something, making some revenue, bring some revenue in before that, so that when you do run into some problems, boom, you have some capital to tackle it with. And then from there, you now have a vehicle that, you know, is still relatively young, which is great. Now, the other thing is I wanted to find something that was past the steepest part of the depreciation curve. So the first 5 years of your vehicle they're gonna depreciate the most. I think that's a word that scares a lot of people, depreciation, you know, and you almost just put depreciation and vehicles head to head, because that's what they're talked in tandem so much. I wanted to find something that was a kind of a 2016 to 2019 was what my kind of target market was, what I was looking for. So any make, any model, postal code that just shows them so you're closer to you. I opened mine up to the city. You know, I'm from Kelowna, so I opened mine up to Vancouver because there's a lot more cars out in Vancouver, and you're probably going to find yourself some better deals just with more volume. So show me cars, and then we're going to get into the filters, and we're gonna work on a few things. All right, so it's telling me there's 5,500 cars for sale in or around Kelowna with a 100-kilometer radius, which is pretty close. Might take you out to Vernon, Penticton, you know, the cities beside you. I actually opened mine up about 500 kilometers because I wanted to include Vancouver, just because there's going to be a lot more cars, a lot more volume. So inevitably you will find just more deals. Ideally I did, we'll see. From there, didn't really have a preference, but I wanted to go seating capacity, you know, 7 seats. I wanted to take the year. I wanted to have a max year of 2020 and a minimum year of 2016. And then mileage, I wanted to go max 80,000 kilometers on the mileage. So that actually brought it down. Let's see. Oh, but it's still giving me 2024. So let me fix that. 2020 min 2016. Let's try that. There we go. 57 vehicles is what we've been narrowed down to now. Yeah, these Dodge Caravans seem like they do super well. They're really reasonably priced, and they do quite well on the platform, it looks like. I mean, people just, you know, whether it's like a boys trip, a ladies trip, a family vacation, you know, a minivan's good for everybody, gets everybody around. Land Rover Discovery, $31,900, $4,000 below market value. See, you can just start finding things, 75,000 kilometers. So once you do find some vehicles that you like, and you like the mileage, you like the look, think about if it's gonna rent out on Turo, etc. Then from there, you can definitely start looking into the model. So I would start researching, okay, 2019 Volkswagen Atlas, what kind of problems do they run into? How's their maintenance, how's the reliability, etc. You know, I'd start teeing that up against the Land Rover. You know, I feel like a Volkswagen would do a bit better than a Land Rover in that comparison. So even though it's a few $1,000s more, you actually might, you know, have a better opportunity of flipping this thing a little later on, or just having less maintenance costs along the way, which is huge. Myself only being 6 trips into Turo, I haven't really had any issues, haven't had to run into any maintenance yet. I'm sure it's going to be coming up. And, you know, at the end of the day, you could do all this research and you can get a lemon. That's just the way the car market is, and the way that cars are. So, you know, it's good to do your research because you want to make a strategic move and a strategic purchase. A lot of these are big purchases. Don't be too hard on yourself if it doesn't work out, because you could just get a lemon. Life can just give you a lemon sometimes. So yeah, guys, that was the process and how I found and purchased my first vehicle for Turo. I'll go through the steps one more time. So it's going to be market research on Turo in your area. The second thing being the environment and what kind of car would work best year-round for you in your area. And the third thing being the year and paying attention to the depreciation of that vehicle that you're going to be purchasing, and the mileage. And I kind of tied in the year and mileage into the same little category because you're able to just, you know, find all that information out in kind of one little session. But I hope that helps, guys. It's definitely not like professional advice or anything. It has been challenging. You know, the Turo market in Kelowna slowed down over the winter. It was a lot slower than I thought it was going to be. It was a really slow start to the ski season on the big ski hills around here, so that didn't help. So there's definitely a lot of factors. You know, the economy is not doing as great as it has been in the past, so that's not, you know, encouraging more people to go traveling. There's lots of different reasons why something like Turo could start going down a cliff. or could just be a lot more difficult at certain times, but it has been encouraging enough. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be making some more videos on Turo, and I really like to talk about just like productivity, morning routines, evening routines, etc. So just kind of feel good, self-improvement kind of content is what I really like to talk about. Turo is my current side hustle. I'm the general manager of a restaurant and brewery. That's my 9 to 5 so to speak. It's actually more of like a noon to 10 p.m. I've really enjoyed Turo so far, and I want to be as transparent as possible with you guys about my journey, and hopefully we can learn something, and you can learn from some of my mistakes so you don't have to make them yourself. Hit that subscribe button, and look forward to seeing you guys again.